There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every time.
Illusion has become real, and the more real it becomes, the more desperate they want it.
There's a positive affirmation you can use to achieve your financial goals. By repeating this command or statement to your subconscious mind over and over again, you start to become more alert and aware of possible ways to make it a reality. And the words that you use are, I make a million, I make a million, I make a million. Say this over and over again until it is accepted by your superconscious mind.
Because at least as a rich man, when I have to face my problems, I show up in the back of a limo wearing a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 gold watch.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit.
Everything vibrates, nothing rests. Look at the walls around you. They're vibrating. They appear to be still. They're really not still. Look at them through a microscope. You'll see the energy dancing in front of your eyes. Go take a look at a body in a coffin. Now you'll think I'm really losing it here, but listen and think. Look at the body through a microscope. It is not dead. That body's moving. It's moving so fast it appears to be still. And if it wasn't moving, how would it ever change to dust? Everything moves. We live in an ocean of motion. Make no mistake about it. Every level of vibration is referred to as a frequency, and the beautiful truth is we think on frequencies.
There's only one thing in the whole universe over which you have complete control, and that is your thoughts. If you wish to change any of the conditions of your life, you have to change the thoughts that precede those conditions. You have to change what is going on in your mind. Whatever you believe with feeling, and this is the key, with feeling, and the more emotion you put into a belief, becomes your reality. If you believe something that is positive or believe something that is negative, or as Henry Ford said, if you believe you can do a thing or if you believe you cannot, you are right. Most of the limitations we have do not exist in reality. They exist only in your own mind. We have a deep down desire inside of us to remain consistent. So we're always trying to view our world, rationalize our world, interpret our world so that it is consistent with what we have already decided to believe. However, if we begin to change our beliefs, we begin to change our reality.
Your mind's job is to make your thoughts real. Your thoughts aren't even thoughts, they are blueprints. Every thought you think, your mind, your body, and your psyche work to make real. So here's a question. If your mind's job is to make your thoughts real, what's your job? Think better thoughts. I mean, imagine if we taught kids that at 5. Your mind's job is making your thoughts real, and your job is think better thoughts. Because every day your mind makes your thoughts real. And you've got to be very careful. This is the genie. Your wish is its command. Be careful what you wish for.
I want you to take each instance that is saying to you, you do not have all the abundance and that you're not debt-free now. Take each one of those instances and reverse them in your mind.
There's a science behind every bit of this. How you got here was not accident. And if you understand how you got here and you understand the mechanism, there is no limitation on your life.
Now understand, your paradigm dictates your logic. Your paradigm controls how you utilize your time. Your paradigm controls your perception of situations. Your paradigm controls your effectiveness. Your paradigm controls the amount of money you earn. If you want to change your life, you must change your paradigm. You see, to most people, it's illogical that they could take and turn their annual income to a monthly income.
There seems to be a direct relationship between how clearly you can see your desired goal or result in your mind and how quickly it comes into your reality. This element of visualization is what explains the powers of the law of attraction, the law of correspondence. The vividness of your desire directly determines how quickly it materializes in the world around you.
Okay, manifesting is not thinking thoughts and then hoping that they come true. Thoughts become things, only when your thoughts inspire you to take the actions to get those things. That's where manifesting comes in. Manifesting is preparing your mind, body, and spirit to help you take the actions to get those things. That's right, I'm going to say that again. Manifesting is like training for getting what you want. Manifesting is socializing your mind, preparing your mind, rehearsing your mind to help you take the steps before you take the steps so that you can get what you want.
I have something that I try to get people to say. When the minute there's a problem, you stop and you go, all is well. All is well. Everything's working out for my highest good. And out of this experience, only good will come. And I am safe. And you do this, if it's a small thing, I say it 2 or 3 times. If it's a bigger issue, I babble it incessantly. But all is well, everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I am safe. Now this quiets your inner turmoil down long enough for the universe to find the solution to the so-called problem. See, when there's problems, we don't have to fix problems so much. We need to fix our thinking.
One of the things that I learned, by the way, is that becoming a self-made millionaire is not the important thing. What is really important is the person you have to become a self-made millionaire. You have to become a totally different human being. That in order to achieve something you've never achieved before, you have to become someone you've never been before. And it's a really important insight, is the qualities that you need to develop, qualities on the inside to become a self-made millionaire, are incredible qualities that make you a vastly better person.
You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole, and you've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. And now, on hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't imagine, you reject the possibility.
When you set a new goal for yourself, your image or picture of this goal will usually be vague and fuzzy. But the more often you write it and review it and repeat it mentally, the clearer it becomes for you. Eventually, it becomes crystal clear. At that point, the goal will suddenly appear in your world exactly as you imagined it.
You're not having a bad year. You've had a few bad days that you're thinking about for the rest of the year. I've found it helpful when I'm in a bad season, like I'm in right now, to just focus on having a good day. A good day in a bad season is a bite-sized victory. String a few of those in a row, and a bad season feels less hard. I'm pretty sure the difference between a happy life and an unhappy one doesn't come down to how many good or bad days you have, but which days you think about over and over again. In some seasons of life, maintaining is winning.
Your body is so objective that it actually believes that it's living in a whole new environment before the environment changes. In other words, the body's believing it's in that new future. And if the environment signals the gene, and it does, and the end product of an experience in the environment is an emotion, you're actually signaling genes ahead of the environment, and your body will begin to become conditioned to a new mind.
Applied faith is the mental attitude wherein you may clear your mind of all fears and doubts and direct it to the attainment of whatever you desire in life. In our first visit, I told you that you and I and every person were blessed with the privilege of complete control over but one thing, and that is the exclusive right to take possession of our own minds and direct them to the attainment of whatever we desire in life. Applied faith is a mental attitude we must cultivate and maintain before we can take complete possession of our minds.
There is an absolute abundance of money on this planet. There is so much money that we can't even count it. And yes, it is true that there are many people who have very little, but it has nothing to do with the amount of money that's here. It's a lack of consciousness. It's a not deserving, not accepting. And are you aware that there are billions and billions of people on this planet, and yet you will hear people tell you that they're lonely? It has nothing to do with the amount of people. It's because we put walls up and we won't allow the love to come in.
Well, the brain activates cells in the body. It sets up a vibration in the body. The vibration that the mind and body are in is going to dictate what you attract. Because when you put yourself in a vibration, what you're really doing is put yourself on a specific frequency. That's what you do when you set a goal. Most people set a goal and then wait for it to happen. It's never going to happen. You've got to assume that it's already happened. You've got a picture of it in your mind. Mentally, it's already happened. It's happened because I've got the idea in my conscious mind. If I didn't have the idea in my conscious mind, I couldn't talk to you about it. The very fact I can talk to you about it means that I've already got it.
When we feel something, chances are that we're going to release dopamine in the brain, the feel-good neurochemical that activates the reward center of the brain. And chances are if we feel that and we have this positive emotion around it and that neurochemistry is flooding our brain and our body with feel-good chemicals, we're actually activating the motivational center of the brain.
So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it, but really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master. And the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. And people say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes, and rehearsing the action.
Now, the biggest enemy of success, I would say there's probably 3 enemies of success.
Yeah.
The first big enemy is the comfort zone. But the comfort zone is where people become comfortable doing what they're doing, and they don't like to change. So there's tremendous resistance to change in our society. 80% of the population finds reasons not to change, even if the change can be positive or beneficial. The second thing that holds people back is what is called learned helplessness. This is where people feel, I can't do it. I cannot make a change. They are always thinking about excuses or reasons why they cannot change, why they cannot do something new or different. And the third enemy is what we call the path of least resistance, which is always looking for an easy way to achieve a result. But nothing worthwhile can be achieved easily.
Do you know that you are the architect of your life? You truly are. And you can tap into this infinite source of supply, and it is an infinite source of supply. I think one of the most magnificent authors of the past 500 years was a man named Thomas Troward. And he talked about the spirit of opulence. And he talked about us tapping into the infinite. And he said, when you are drawing from the infinite, you can never take more than your share. Abundance is your birthright. But understand this, you will never attract into your life something that is not in harmony with you. And so if you want more, if you want greater wealth, greater health, more meaningful relationships, make up your mind right now that you're going to build the image of what you want, and you're going to hold on to that image, and you're going to stay in that vibration.
Anytime you want to do something, and asking for what you want is often a big thing, you've got to be willing to be a little terrified. You don't have to give in to the fear, but you have to be willing to feel it. Think of the things you'd like to do. Ask your boss for a raise, leave the job you hate, turn a work acquaintance into a friend, or ask some friends to take a look at your new business opportunity. Now, instead of saying, I'm afraid to do one of these things, figure out how you're scaring yourself. Make a statement that recognizes that feeling. Your statement will be something such as, I want to ask my boss for a raise, and I scare myself by imagining he'll say no or get mad at me for asking. Here's another example. I want to show my friends my new business opportunity, and I scare myself by imagining that they'll think I'm only after their money. Do you see how it works? Acknowledge that you are creating your fear, and you'll start to triumph over it.
Your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within us. Now that perfection has so much junk on top of it that we call a paradigm, that it has difficulty expressing itself. That spiritual perfection within us is always seeking expression with and through us. That's why we always want more.
Wherever focus goes, energy flows. You envisioned something, you got clear about it, and then you started thinking about all the reasons why you wanted it. You got excited about it. Said, this is what's next for me now. I want this. You may have dreamed about it, thought about it, talked about it. But when you focus on something continuously, something magical happens. You get insights, don't you? You overhear a conversation, you hear something you wouldn't have heard if you didn't have that outcome or goal that you wanted so badly. Who's ever come up with something, obsessed about it, didn't even know how to do it, and it just happened, and it came together? Who's had that experience? Say I. So why don't we tap into that power now for your business and life?
Ask yourself, can I be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past? What do I want in my life? And take the time to answer the question. As you begin to contemplate and think about the answer to the question, you're changing your brain. When you make your brain fire in new sequences and new patterns and new combinations, that's the beginning steps of changing your mind.
Imagination is everything, and we can become what we can imagine. If you find yourself getting depressed and down at the mouth, as we all get once in a while, you might want to remember this quotation by Dean Briggs. He said, do your work. Not just your work and no more, but a little more for the lavishing's sake. That little more which is worth all the rest. And if you suffer as you must, and if you doubt as you must, do your work. Put your heart into it, and the sky will clear. And then out of your very doubt and suffering will be born the supreme joy of life. Believe it or not, in an age when we've come to nearly deify leisure time, we've almost lost sight of the fact that virtually all our satisfactions, rewards will come not from our leisure, but from our work. And don't forget the strangest secret. We become what we think about.
But I just kept on, man. Just kept on with it. I just kept the faith. I kept believing. I kept asking. I kept wanting. God got great life for you, man. But you're going to have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, you're going to have to believe it. After you believe it, you got to put your work in. Now, if you don't want to do the work that it takes to be successful, this man with his success, if you knew how hard he worked, if you knew the hours he put in, the hours his daddy put in, if you knew what it really took, it's daunting. It's days, man, where you go, whoa, what is this I'm trying to do? But you got to hang in there. See, getting what you want is up to you. How you get there, that's up to God.
You're going to have an interesting life. You can't have all of the other interesting lives you would have had. What's that mean to you?
Well, I suppose it's that thing of like, it's incredible the things you won't do. Like when you think about like the potential that we all have, like we're all privileged in a sense, right? Because we all get one life. And then we get given, different gifts, right? So there can be no equality because we're all born different, right? So it's that thing of going, and it's not better, worse, or the same. It's just different. Everyone's kind of different. And I think that, for me, that the idea of going, you can't have an easy life and a great character. You've got to kind of go out there and decide what you want. That's the first great adventure. And then getting it is the second great adventure. So it sort of speaks to that thing of like wishing wells work. But they don't work when it's not the magic. The magic is you going, oh, what do I wish for? What do I want being the fundamental. Like if you know what you want, that's incredibly powerful.
If you make a vision board with your house on the ocean or you at the stock exchange ringing the bell, and that's all that you have on it, science says that that vision board will become a source of profound discouragement. Because over time, as you sit there and stare at your dream house or you ringing the bell at NASDAQ and nothing in your life changes, you start to feel further and further and further away from what you want, which makes you feel further and further discouraged, which means you're less and less motivated to even begin working on it. Like, the hardest part for everybody is to start, and the reason why is not only the patterns of procrastination and anxiety and stuff that you get trapped in, but it's also because your goals feel so far away that you don't believe that just starting is going to even chip away at it.
The law of attraction comes from one Bible verse that says a man is as he thinketh. So however you think, that's how you are. What you emit is what you receive. It's real simple. If you want more people to smile at you, all you got to do is start smiling at more people. You want more people to shake your hand, all you got to do is start sticking your hand out to more people. Everybody ain't going to smile at you, everybody ain't going to shake your hand. But I bet you more people start doing it. Because that's the signal you've seen. So the day you stop claiming poverty is the day you stop being poor.
When you make up your mind to be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past, all you have to do is make a decision. And you just got to have a clear intent on what you want. And so learn, study, get something in your brain that's going to stimulate you about what's possible. And then begin to dream or begin to build a model of what it could look like, and don't let go of it. And begin to experience the emotions of how you feel when it happens. And teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like. So it only requires two things: a clear intention, that's a function of a coherent, organized brain, and an elevated emotion, which is a function of your heart and your body. And when you combine those two, you're going to change your energy. And when you change your energy, you're going to change your life.
The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving. So then people who show up for themselves every day, they start feeling pretty damn worthy. Like, they're like, I'm worthy for this. Not like an entitlement way, like something. They just like, I feel like it's going to happen. I'm worthy for it.
You're not ready for what you want until you believe you can get it. All things are possible if you believe.
And you get it when you believe it. You get it when you believe you have it. And that's the key. It's like people still, they sit around going, when's it going to come? 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 And that's the wrong way. You have to go, it's here, it's here, it's here.
Take the first step. The first step is always the hardest step because it forces you, like a chick breaking out of an egg when it hatches. The first step forces you to break out of your comfort zone. And the comfort zone is so strong that probably 90% of people are held back from their full potential all their life because of this vice-like comfort zone. And when you take the first step, the only way you can do it is break out. And suddenly you see the second step and the third step and the fourth step. And then as you take the steps, your self-esteem goes up and your self-confidence goes up and you become more creative and you start to think of all kinds of ideas. And people say, what has gotten into you? I mean, what are you smoking? Because whatever it is, you should share it with the others. And so this is the difference between top people, is they have a big idea of what's possible and they take the first step.
If you're talking about manifesting your dreams, it only requires two things. It requires a clear intention. An intention is a vision, a possibility. The moment you say, what would it be like to be healthy? What would it be like to be wealthy? What would it be like to have a new home? What would it be like to have a great job? And you get this idea in your mind, that's intention. Then you write down the details. Okay, I want to travel around the world. I want to have great benefits, great insurance. I want to work with really cool people. I want to have a chance to be creative. And you list all of those individual elements to fortify your dream. The more you get clear on those details, the more your brain begins to work in new ways. The moment you get inspired and you begin to feel what it would be like to live in that future, your body is getting a chemical sampling, an emotional sampling. It's getting a taste of the future. What is the emotion you would feel if you had your dream come true? Incredible gratitude. If you can hold on to that emotional state of gratitude, your body is living in that future in the present moment. And that's when we begin to see the miracles happen.
Every morning when you wake up, visualize and feel exactly what it is that you want in life. You don't have to worry about how it happens. You just have to focus all of your energy on feeling as if it already happened. And if you can do that, then the right circumstances, the right people, the right opportunities will show up to get you the vision that you have for your life. Because in truth, it really isn't the universe. It is you in verse. In other words, it's everything that you think and feel inside of yourself about life is what you are calling in to your reality. You're the one creating your reality.
Belief is truly a magic word. because it is the beginning of all successes. It is the very foundation of civilization. It is the one quality you must develop before you can make use of the great master key to success. To be successful, you must become a person with a great capacity for belief. And the place to start believing is with yourself. You should begin by recognizing that you were born with the privilege of complete control over your own mind. You should also recognize that you can take full possession of your mind and make it yield you whatever you demand in life.
That's paper. We call it money. Money is an idea. Money goes where it's invited and it stays where it's welcome. The idea that you have to work hard for this stuff is not true. Some of the people that work the hardest are the ones that are in the least. Now think about it. I was reading where Taylor Swift, young gal singer, was the highest paid entertainer last year. She's doing what she absolutely loves. That's not hard work. I get very well paid. I'm doing what I absolutely love. The idea that you have to work hard is silly. When you love what you're doing, you'll never work again.
Now here's the first lesson of economics. Everybody should learn it from the time they're old enough to understand what a dollar means. How to earn one, how to get one, how to keep one, what to do with it. First lesson of economics. You don't get paid for the time. We primarily get paid for value. Bringing value to the marketplace, that's how you get paid. And I have a little phrase for your notes. You can't get more time, but you can create more value. Now here's the best word I know of to go with action. Massive. Massive action is called the cure-all. See, that'll change everything. Here's the language of the poor. I'll try it a time or two and see what happens. The guy says, well, I'll give it 30 days. 30 days. You could guess his bank balance. So here's one of the major things to do starting tomorrow. Take a look at your game plan. If it isn't loaded with massive action, change it. The formula really works like this. Pick up a good idea, take heavy action. Take heavy action on a good idea. Don't wait till you've learned 2,000 or 3,000 things, because that way you'll use up all the time. And you could wind up smart and broke. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. You'll become a fool. Let your learning lead to action. You can become wealthy. I often ask somebody, what are you going to do the next 6 months? And somebody starts to tell me. I say, no, don't tell me. Show me. Don't think in your head. Put it on paper. Don't operate out of your mind. Operate from paper. Put it on a game plan. Take action on what you found out.
What you say and what you think, and I tell this to my kids all the time, becomes your reality. If you're telling yourself, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that, whatever it is, you tell yourself that and it will manifest. I really believe that we create our lives, not just with our actions and the things we do, but the things we think and the self-talk that we give. Being in this business where people are always trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, you really have to have a strong sense of self and gut and instinct and follow that.
Now, here's the next exercise. Now I want you to answer this question. What kind of person must I become to achieve all I want? And I'll give you time to write that down now. What kind of person must I become to achieve all I want? What you become helps you to achieve, and what you achieve helps you to become. And the more you become, the more you can achieve, and the more you achieve, the more you can become. Who knows which affects the other the most? So now just write this exercise. Start with a few sentences. Your concept of the person you think you must become to achieve what you want. Time for a little truth here. Maybe you need to become much wiser than you are at the moment. You need to become stronger. You need to have better health. Maybe you need a little coaching to really become the person I want to become. I'm going to have some coaching. Physical coaching, spiritual coaching, developing skills coaching. To be the influence you want to be, you got to build an incredible reputation. What kind of person must I be to attract all that I want in my life and the people that I want and the opportunities that I want?
The act of rehearsing mentally in your mind who you want to be, the act of just closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing that scene literally causes the brain to look like you already did it. Keep doing it over and over again. The hardware becomes more automatic, like a software program. You naturally get your behaviors to match your intentions because you installed the circuitry.
practice feeling the elevated emotion, if you feel that emotion and you say, when I feel this emotion, I can believe in that future, then let me just keep remembering to feel this way in every part of my day. And this is not about positive thinking. This is about conditioning my body emotionally into the future. So if I maintain this modified state of mind and body my entire day, should there be some evidence in my life as a result of my change in state of being, a synchronicity, a coincidence? And if there is, then I'm going to do it again. And I think that's how we start stepping into that future.
Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever starting age 25. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. Everything changed for me when I understood this philosophy. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself for quality. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive.
Everything's vibrating. Your thoughts are electric, and your feelings, your heart feelings, are magnetic. So if you can get the brain coherent, you can send a very clear signal as an electrical charge into the field. You get that heart turned on and feel the emotion before it happens. The more coherent the heart, the more you have a strong magnetic field. And that's what draws experiences to us. So in our work, we marry a clear intention and an elevated emotion, a coherent brain and a coherent heart, and create a Wi-Fi signal. And if there's a vibrational match between some possibility in the quantum field, the frequency or information, and your energy, and you're creating beyond space and time from the field instead of from matter, and it's the field that creates matter, is it possible when there's a vibrational match to draw that experience to you without having to do anything? The answer is 100% absolute yeah.
You know, abundance is our birthright. Abundance is our birthright. And everywhere you look, you see abundance. Everywhere you look, there's an abundance of leaves on the trees. There's an abundance of snow in the ground. There's an abundance of water in the universe. There's an abundance everywhere you go. And you and I have the ability to create an abundance. Now, you take nothing with you. You'll never own anything. You arrive with nothing, you're going to leave the same way. But while you're here, you can enjoy an abundant life. You can have all of whatever it is you want, but you have to earn it.
If I have this dream, if I have this goal, how bad do I want it? You sit down and you say, what would it be like to be super healthy, super wealthy, super in love? You ask that question and your brain gets really creative. It starts combining circuits in new ways, and you start getting this vision of the future. It becomes so real that you start to feel the emotion as if you were actually there. That moment, the stronger the emotion you feel when you hold that vision, the more you'll remember that vision. That's creating a memory. So the person comes out of the resting state and they make a decision with such firm intention that the amplitude of that decision carries a level of energy that causes their body to respond to their mind. We could say then they're giving their body a taste of the future emotionally, and somehow they begin to embody whatever that future is, and now they begin to move in a different direction. They start trusting in their future more because they feel like they're connected to it. Intention is really meaning. You got to have a meaning behind what you're doing.